Hey folks, this is BestInSlot. Welcome back to our Jurassic World Evolution mod spotlights, and this is kind of a preview of a Camp Cretaceous special. We've got two brand new Camp Cretaceous themed dinosaurs to look at today, and we're going to kick things off with the cutest of them all. This is a new pattern for the Ankylosaurus, so it doesn't even add a new dinosaur to the game, and this is Bumpy by Josaba. Petito. Other names. I'm very excited for this one. Because look at it! Oh my god, it's actually adorable. Guys! We have had a Bumpy mod in the past, but it was basically a recoloured Ankylosaurus, and it's just not quite the same as a full-on, actual, adorable baby Bumpy. Baby Bumpy, of course, being the greatest character in Camp Cretaceous. Now, I know the asymmetry is a little bit lacking. You see this bump on the right is a little bit smaller. I believe that's getting fixed to make it even smaller than it is. But beyond that, it's perfect. It's so very, very agonizingly cute. This is the one I was really excited for, more than any other mod I'm going to showcase today. I'm sorry to all the other very talented people, but I have fallen in love with Baby Bumpy. And it will now be in every single park that I make, I'm pretty sure. It is very cool, as I say that. I'll show you this very quickly. If we hop over to Ankylosaurus, you can see here if we go into Modify, got all the Return to Jurassic Park stuff here. Well, up here at the top. But down at the bottom we now have 2020 pattern A, and that is, of course, Bumpy. Where have you gone, Bumps? Bumpy's running! Bumpy's running! I love it. I'm dying inside a little bit. My heart is breaking, but I must move on. I must. There are many beautiful dinosaurs to look at. We're not going to take a look at too many dinosaurs today. I've only picked 8 out. I really wanted to focus on Bumpy and the other one. There are many fantastic mods out there that came out in the last few weeks that I haven't covered yet. We will get to a lot of those in a future video. We're going to do like a big, probably like 30 dinosaur showcase at some point. But next up is one I could not resist, and it's the Albertaceratops by LA Studios, who you may know from, say, the Seismosaurus and stuff like that. Some of the greatest mods we've ever had. Now, this is not the default skin. This is the jungle skin. I very rarely do this, but I fell in love so hard with this skin that I couldn't help but bring it in. I really am obsessed with this skin. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, it looks like a battlefield cover, but that's what, you know, jungle skins are all about. The blues and the oranges and stuff like that. Fantastic model, fantastic skin, as you would expect. Love this little dewlappy bit hanging down here. What would you call it? A dewlap? Would you call it a... Where's that? I wrote this down before, actually. It's like a... No, it's not a gular pouch, but it's like a gular pouch a little bit in terms of where it sits on the body. But look at that skin pattern. Isn't that absolutely beautiful stuff? Really bright and colourful on the head, on the frill, exactly what you would like, and then a bit more tame on the body. Love this little ridging we've got down there at the spine. But you're here for dino facts as well. So, Albertaceratops, a centrosaurine from the Cretaceous Canada, hence the name, Alberta horned face. Has 2 long brow horns that you can see right here in the middle of its, brow, which is actually very unusual for centrosaurines, which are in part known for having very short brow horns. And we think this is probably because Albertaceratops was a basal centrosaurine. It was one of the first, it's an OG, maybe the OG. And as the centrosaurines evolved, those brow horns shrunk down in size. The species is named actually Albertaceratops nesmoi, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, after a paleo hunter from a nearby ranch from where this Albertaceratops was discovered. And he lives in a town of 100 people, so it's not really a town, it's like a collection of houses, which I suppose is what a town is, but you know what I mean, 100 people. And this guy has pushed and supported paleontological efforts for years and years in that area, like hunting and blah 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 blah. And I think that's really sweet. This guy is now immortalised forever in the name of this beautiful dinosaur, because he, in this tiny little town, pushed for and supported paleontology. So the point is, no matter where you're from, no matter how small it is, you can do some pretty cool things. Wholesome moment. Right, next up we have Protoceratops andrewsi, or something, made by Josaba. Josaba. Jose. Josaba, how do you pronounce your name? Damn boy, you got those long legs. So this is actually the second Protoceratops. They are now compatible, thanks to a lovely compatibility patch released on the Nexus by some lovely people. I thought it had 6 legs then. It's got a long-ass body, doesn't it? Really like the design on the head. The face and the skull shape in particular is really, really cool. It's got the jutting out of the skull that we'd expect in this very unique-looking frill. Our little Velociraptor battler, of course, Protoceratops. And it's actually Protoceratops' fault, by the by, that everyone thinks Oviraptor is an egg eater, because the nest that we thought the Oviraptor was stealing from, we thought it was Protoceratops' nest. Well, they thought it was Protoceratops' nest. Turns out it was an Oviraptor nest. So it's actually all your fault, buddy. Now, fun fact about the Protoceratops. This is a fun fact. A historian of science and a folkloreologist, I made up that word, determined that the Protoceratops fossil, this little boy over here, may be the origins of the griffin myth. You know, the lion body and the wings and the eagle head in Greek mythology, because it's got this quadrupedal body, it's got this raptor-like beak, raptor as in like an eagle, not like a... Well, that kind of could be both. That couldn't be anything. These fossils were also found in an area with immense gold runoff. This is in the mountains in Central Asia. There's lots of gold, and griffins, historically, were keepers and protectors of gold. So the gold kind of tied together nicely. Now, people have kind of shut down that theory a little bit in the years since. A paleontologist a few years back was like, yeah, you say that, but here's all the reasons that's wrong. But still, it's a cool theory, and I like to believe it's true. You're a little griffin, my friend. I'm going to call you Griffin. You're like the only named mod dinosaur I have, but there you go, Griffin. Next up, lots of herbivores today. We have Deinocheirus mirificus, which is actually the only species of Deinocheirus, if I recall correctly. This one by Zach, our third Deinocheirus now, is actually compatible with one of the other two. You have to pick one of the other two to use with this one, but this one will work with either of them, but those two won't work together. May have been a mistake putting this with the herbivores, given the scream. So this is by Zach, and predictably that means it's pretty awesome, because Zach does some of the best work in this entire game. It is beautiful looking. Love that long head. We've got the sort of pelican-esque head that you expect. We've got feathering down there at the tail, right at the back, and of course over there on the arms as well. Little subtle, really nicely made feathers, by the way. It must be, especially the tail. The tail is a beautiful looking thing. Really nice, effective feathering there. Let's learn about Deinocheirus. Deinocheirus is a late Cretaceous, I'm going to have to say this word so many times today, ornithomimosaur, okay, from the famed Nemegt, hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, Nemegt Formation in Mongolia. You'll remember that from, I believe that's where Dilophosaurus was found in JPOG. Its name means horrible hand, which is a little bit mean, as far as I'm concerned. And it is a kind of weird dinosaur. It is the largest of its kind at a pretty staggering 36 feet long. Up to 39 feet, actually. This thing is gigantic. And though it is a big boy, it does weigh, it's still heavy, but it weighs less than you'd expect. Because it has air sacs all throughout the body, kind of poking into its bones, and I can't remember the word they use, pneumatizing, I don't know, poking air holes into the bones. Likely omnivorous in nature, we've got a decent amount of evidence for that. There were gastrolites found in the stomach of one of the specimens, and gastrolites are basically, you know, the stones that animals swallow to help them break down plant material. But another one was found with fish scales in proximity, so it probably chewed down on some fish as well, which you can, you know... It's unsurprising. You're also very loud, aren't you? Of course, we've got these raised neural spines at the back, giving it a hump. It's a very odd creature, it really is. And as usual, Zach has done some... Shut up. Zach has done some beautiful work bringing it to life. One of my favourite mods going. Final for the herbivores, we're going much smaller with Pelecanimimus, made by FS Geek 2020, with, I think, some help from Aquarisk type 2EP. This is the Pelican Mimic. It's a nice contrast to the Deinocheirus, because this is also an ornithomimosaurian. This time from the early Cretaceous and Spain, which, you know, I feel like I never really hear about Spain for dinosaur discoveries, so that's pretty cool. Now, Deinocheirus may have been the biggest of the ornithos, which is what we'll now be calling them, but you know what? Pelecanimimus had the most teeth. So there you go, Deinocheirus. Suck it. Now, actually saying that, only two ornithomimosaurians actually had teeth in the first place, so Pelecanimimus didn't really have much competition, but it did have the most teeth, so well done you. And I really appreciate the details on this mod. If you just stop moving. Okay, there's some pretty cool details here. So, Pelecanimimus was saved really well in its dig site. It was just really good atmosphere and really good sort of ground material to keep the fossil well preserved. And because of that, we have indentations and things that kind of denote soft tissue markers. And one of those is on the back of the skull, suggesting that it had either a keratinous or just a general skin flap hanging off the back of the skull. And we also have this thing down here, which is what I mentioned before. This is the gular, not gulap. I was going to go gulag there. The gulag pouch. A gular pouch, which is this area of featherless skin that attaches from sort of midway up the mandible / beakish sort of area down to the neck. And of course you see that on a lot of birds as well. It's called a gular pouch. If it's a dewlap, so what's the difference between a dewlap? I think has to hang down more from here, and the gular kind of attaches across there. Anyways, so there you go. And of course we have some feathering on the back. It's a little bit more static and plonked together as far as feathers go. You know, it's not as freewheeling, but it's nice to have. It kind of looks like a giant shovel. It's kind of cute. And yeah, just a cool little dinosaur. I thought it was a nice contrast with the Deinocheirus, because it is a little bit funny that these two come from the same family. Hello everyone else. Lots of dinosaurs hanging around. Anyways, that is all of our herbivores. We're going to move on to the carnivores. We're saving the other hybrid for the end. So, next up we have Gasosaurus, made by Nanolesensis. One of my favourite mod makers as well, must be said. And yet again, I've picked out the jungle skin. The default Gasosaurus, as you saw in the preview there, is more stripy. And it looks fine, it's great. But I fell in love. What is going on here? Why am I over here? Gaso? Buddy! Nope. I fell in love with this jungle skin. It is so bright and so vivid and so beautiful. It looks like I'm at a bloody rave in Ibiza, and I appreciate it. I mean, it's very, very strong colours, but I love the way they're blended together. Look at how this pink fades into this sort of teal, turquoisey blue. That is stunning. And the same with the pink into the orangish, and then over here we've got a bit more detail above the eye. This thing does have crazy eyes, but it's I cannot remember what the bird was, but I know Nano based it very strongly on a real-world bird. Was it a grackle? It could have been a grackle. I think it might be a grackle. Grackle being a thing in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Little reference there. There you go. Anyways, love the skin. Really, really cool. Gasosaurus. Why is it called Gasosaurus? I'm glad you asked, YouTube. Now, this is a theropod from the Middle Jurassic and China, and it is literally the gasoline reptile. And it only has a single species, and it's named Gasosaurus constructus. Yes, named as such in honour of the gasoline company that actually found the dig site where Gasosaurus was discovered. So that's why it's called Gasosaurus, because it was discovered inadvertently discovered by a gasoline company. They found the dig site, which then allowed other people to find Gasosaurus. I was thinking it just smelled really badly, and we somehow found that out, but no, it's named after the gasoline. Given the circumstances of how it was found, it's not that surprising that Gasosaurus has very fragmentary remains. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. That means it's been placed in about 1 billion different places along its lifespan. It's been a megalosaurid initially, it was a coelosaurian, it was a carnosaur at one point. I think it is still very much up for grabs as well. But there is a detailed restudy of the specimen underway right now, which means we may get an answer within the next year or two or a few years or whatever. Gasosaurus may yet have his day in the sun, which he doesn't need because he's bright as balls already. And I just love this skin so much. Very cool. Right, on to the hybrids. We have 2 of them to look at today. First up is Carnotarkus, made by Sweetener. And it is one of the few herbivorous hybrids we're going to see in the entire... Is it the first time? I mean, obviously we had Ankylodocus, that doesn't count because it's an abhorrent mistake of nature. But this is a carnivorous, herbivorous hybrid, which is really cool. I actually don't know what it's made from, so I'm going to very quickly check and pretend that I'm a professional YouTuber. Cool beans. It is Woohoosaurus, which you also have to get from a Sweetener herbivore pack. I was going to showcase it today, but we'll look at it next time. And Carnotaurus. There have you gone, buddy. The skin's a little bit dark, so it's a little hard to see sometimes, but that's pretty perfect. Let's stay there for a second. There you go. So it's big old spiky. We've got the sort of Woohoosaurus body shape. We've got the Thagomizer at the back of the tail. I really like this skin. This kind of... It's a bit dark and everything, but then there's this... just streaks of lighter brown colour sort of coursing through it, which looks really cool. Yeah, I don't know, it's interesting, right? I think you could get... It looks a little bit like a dragon to me for some reason. Obviously, we've got the Carnotaurus horns there at the front, making it Carnotaurus-y. And it does have that slightly more aggressive look you would associate with the Carnotaurus. Definitely not pure Woohoosaurus. The Woohoosaurus, by the way, I should mention very quickly, is very beautiful. Part of this there it is. Part of this 6 dinosaur hoping for pack. As I say, I'll be doing another video down the line. I'm probably going to cover 20, 30 mods, and we're going to do it much quicker in terms of bing bang information. But today we have one creature left to go. This is the Scorpius Rex, of course, from Camp Cretaceous Season 3. Now, I should mention there are more Scorpius Rexes in development. It's very popular right now. And more Camp Cretaceous stuff, as I say. So I will do a video focusing entirely on Camp Cretaceous stuff. Maybe we'll build like a little exhibit or something like that. But I have not seen this in game. As of right now, this is not released. Although by the time you guys see this video, it will be. So go check it out on Nexus. Also go check out Sweetener's channel, where they do showcase these mods first. It's the best place to see these upcoming mods that Sweetener makes. And they're very talented, so I will link their channel down below in the description. With all that said, E750, Scorpius Rex. I really should have made... No, never mind. Anyways, here it is. Of course, based on the Indoraptor, kind of the logical assumption. And of course, it also had to release itself into the shadows. Alright, let's go. What is going on today? Seriously. So, trying to spot, it's going a bit mad. There we are, Scorpius Rex. Just going to wait till you get in the shadow a little bit there, buddy. But of course, the famed brand new hybrid from Camp Cretaceous. Ugly as balls, which is exactly what you would want and expect. So we can look at kind of... I don't know what to say, it's really cool. So, let's look at what we've got here. We've got the proto-feathering quills, you would probably call it more than anything else, on both the back of the tail, which it uses to whip around and, you know, inject venom into people. And we also have the sort of quilling there on the back of the head. We've got that short, as people have said, it's very like a pug, very short-nosed, short-stouted kind of head, with big gap there for the eyes, and the bizarro jutting all over the place sort of teeth. And unlike the Indoraptor, it's kind of thick. I think it could be even thicker, but it's got those it's got those big thighs that still end in those spindly, alien-esque claws. And then we have a little skin flap. Everyone loves a good skin flap. Everyone loves a good skin flap. Yeah, it looks really cool. You know, it's got the right skin coloring. It's mainly black, although we've got this smattering of sort of coffee colour. It's always a coffee underneath the neck. Those big red eyes. Yeah, it looks like a Scorpius Rex. It's really cool. I'm very excited to see. I know it's going to be a bit weird when multiple people bring out Scorpius Rex. We could have one called E750 if you're watching this, Proton, for example. It's going to be interesting to see how they differ and how people approach the dinosaur, because it is an awkward dinosaur to make, because you kind of need to make it ugly, because it is kind of ugly. On purpose, it's meant to look weird and bizarre and ugly, and it does. So that's a good job. Yeah, really like it. Really well made. Awesome to see it in game already. Very excited to bring it together with Bumpy and a few other Camp Cretaceous dinosaurs. Probably next week we'll have that video. So that's about it from me. I've prattled on for far too long, as per usual. As I say, we will do a mod spotlight probably a week or so away now. Maybe later this week, we'll see how things go, where we cover lots and lots of dinosaurs. Because, I'll show you very quickly, we are on a fairly staggering 261, and annoyingly, it should actually be 200, according to my list, which I maintain, and again it's linked in the description, it should be 262. I'm missing one dinosaur, and I cannot for the life of me figure out what it is. I do not have a bloody clue. There is something missing from this list, and I don't know what it is, and it's driving me insane. But anyways, where have you gone? There you are, Scorpius Rex. Very cool. Very cool. Right, that is it. Thank you again to all the fantastic mod makers. Special shout out to Sweetener, who did send me this ahead of time. Again, go check out their channel, linked in the description down below. But also shout out to Yosabar and to Zag and Aquarisk Tip and FS Geek 2020 and Nano Licensis and LA Studios for all their work. And of course everyone else whose work I will be showcasing in future videos. Alright, thank you for joining me. I'll see... Ooh. Should we see it kill something? Yeah. I don't know why I keep sacrificing my beloved BestInSlot Megatherium to showcase these dinosaur fights, but that's what we're gonna... I'm so sorry, buddy, I really am. It's because, you know, it's me sacrificing myself, and I need to show that I'm unbiased. Although you are the cutest thing in the world, you really are. Anyways, E750, looking even cooler bipedal. I think it looks more like E750 when it does hop up onto its legs. And it's hunting our sloth. There you go. It's running. It's running. It's jumping up. It's doing things. Looks a little funky because of the side of Megatherium. Oh! Grabs it around the neck. Rips down. Like a no! I just feel so bad. Yeah, well done you, nerd. Oh! Oh, the pain. Oh, I don't want to look at that anymore. Okay, thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed this video, please do throw me a like. Remember to check out all these mods on the Nexus and, of course, on my list as well. Check out Sweetness channel. I'll see you lovely folks next time. Cheers much love as always. Bye-bye.
Reaching out.